Watch the moment a visionary becomes a victim. A young entrepreneur is on a podcast. He is charismatic, energetic, and desperate to be understood. He spends 60 minutes explaining exactly how his algorithm works. He reveals his hiring strategy. He explains his unbeatable marketing funnel. He believes he is building in public. He believes he is inspiring his audience. But ask yourself, who is he actually inspiring? His followers or his hunters? He is actually handing out the blueprints to his own assassination. 6 months later, a competitor with 10 times his capital launches a carbon copy of his product. They didn't have to innovate. They didn't have to guess. The founder gave them the shortcut for free. By the time he realizes the breach, the market has moved on. His empire was a glass house, and he spent his last days inviting the world to look at the supports. To the imperial mind, this is a fatal lack of discipline. The greatest structures in human history were not built to be admired during construction. They were built to endure because the source of their strength remained hidden. To understand how to protect your work, we must look at the emperor who built a wall, not to show off his power, but to bury it. 221 BC. One man stands at the center of a crushed China, Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. He did not just build a wall, he built a psychological barrier that lasted for 2,000 years. Most people think of the Great Wall as a pile of stones. To the emperor, it was a message written in the earth. My resources are infinite, and my methods are unknowable. When the emperor began the construction, he did not hold audiences to discuss his vision. He moved hundreds of thousands of workers in absolute, terrifying silence. The logistics were a state secret. To reveal the path of a supply line was an act of treason punishable by the slow slicing. The most terrifying thing about the emperor was not his army. It was his invisibility. He lived in a palace with 270 separate pavilions, all connected by secret tunnels. He moved like a ghost through his own halls. No one, not even his high-ranking ministers, knew which room the emperor slept in on any given night. If his own inner circle couldn't find him, what chance did an assassin have? He understood a fundamental law of power. Visibility is vulnerability. By hiding the foundation of his daily life, he made himself seem like a force of nature. Because the people couldn't see the man eating or doubting, they could only see the emperor, who was everywhere and nowhere. When he died, he took the secret of his foundation to the grave. He was buried with a terracotta army, thousands of soldiers guarding a tomb filled with rivers of flowing mercury. To ensure the blueprints stayed buried, the workers who knew the layout were sealed inside alive. Cruel, perhaps. But 2,000 years later, the entrance to the main chamber has never been found. The foundation remains intact because the emperor understood that once a secret is shared, it is no longer a foundation. It is a target. Qin Shi Huang did not seek validation. He sought awe. And awe is only possible when the mechanics of power are hidden behind a veil of silence. Now look at a modern specimen. We will call him the oversharer. He is a high-level strategist who is hungry for status. He lands a massive contract with a Fortune 500 company. The moment the ink is dry, he posts a photo of the contract on LinkedIn. He shares a behind-the-scenes look at his creative process. He tags the executives involved. He thinks he is marketing. He thinks he is building authenticity. But the moment he posted that photo, the deal stopped being his. In the eyes of the imperial mind, he is leaking his foundation. By showing the world how he did it, he has just invited every competitor to undercut him. He has revealed his price point and his contact list. Most importantly, he has stripped the magic away from his work. The client hired him because they perceived him as a master. But the moment he starts explaining the tricks of his trade on social media, the client begins to wonder why they are paying a premium for something that now seems so replicable. In the archives of Noctis Mentis, We call this the peddler's trap. A peddler shouts about his wares in the street. A master allows the quality of the work to speak for itself, while the method remains a mystery. The oversharer is trading long-term authority for a short-term hit of dopamine. He's building a foundation out of cardboard and painting it to look like stone. When the first storm hits, he will have no secrets left to protect him. How did the first emperor maintain his awe? He mastered the architecture of the iceberg. When you look at an iceberg, you only see 10% of the mass. The 90% below the surface is what provides the stability. It is what makes the iceberg capable of crushing a ship. Your life should be an iceberg. Your public output, the finished work the world sees, is the 10%. The 90% below the surface is your foundation. It consists of your true motivations, your financial reserves, the dirty work of research that led to the success. Is your ratio inverted? Are you 90% public and 10% private? If so, you are a thin person. When you are pushed, you fall over because there is no weight beneath the surface. They have no secrets, so they have no mystery. They have no mystery, so they have no power. The imperial mind requires you to be heavy. When you deliver a project, it should appear effortless, as if it simply existed. If you explain how hard you worked, you're asking for pity. If you explain the steps you took, you are providing a manual for your replacement. Keep the 90% submerged. If people ask how you achieved something, give them a vague, high-status answer. I focused on the fundamentals. Never let them see the quarry where the stones are cut. Only show them the finished wall. By hiding his foundation, the first emperor created a vacuum effect. In a vacuum, the mind of the observer rushes in to fill the silence. Because there was no data on the emperor's doubts, the people assumed he was infallible. Silence isn't empty space. It's a canvas for the other person's fears. When you reveal the depth of your foundation, you destroy the vacuum. You replace mystery with fact, and facts are manageable. Facts can be analyzed, critiqued, and dismissed. Think about a legendary investor or a world-class chef. They don't explain the why behind every move. They make the move, and they let the world scramble to figure out how they did it. This creates a psychological tension in the observer. They become obsessed with your secret. As long as they are looking for the key, you are in control. The moment you give it to them, you become a commodity. This is the power of no data. Your process must be a black box. Input goes in and excellence comes out. The less they know about the internal wiring, the more they will value the output. This week, you will be tested. You will have a success. You will land a deal, finish a project, or achieve a personal milestone. Your instinct, the oversharer within you, will want to post about it. You will want to explain the journey to get that hit of validation. The question is simple: dopamine or discipline? Apply the quarry protocol, deliver the result, but keep the quarry hidden. If someone asks how you did it, do not provide the blueprint. Smile. Acknowledge the question and move on. Observe the frustration in the reactor when you don't give them the data. Watch how they suddenly perceive you as more significant because they can't quite figure out your angle. The first rule of the Citadel is that the blueprints never leave the vault. The finished wall is all they need to see. The foundation remains buried. This is the work. This is the silent foundation. Stay silent, stay focused, stay within the walls. This is Noctis Mentis.